Next slide, please. So I have a preamble. We'll talk about the potential of the AfCFTA. I'll focus on Africa, but I'll talk about export in general. But my mandate is on Africa under the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. Then I'll talk about the processes involved, how to go about promoting your product, the programs that the National Coordinating Office of AfCFTA, together with AfCFTA Secretariat in Ghana and AfCFTA, have put together to support this initiative. The program involved, and how to overcome it, then how do you prepare? And I'll make a lot of emphasis on preparation, because at the point of preparation, a number of things can be prevented ahead of time. At the point of preparation, one of the biggest challenges of export, not just in Nigeria actually, in many parts of the world, is the issue of export readiness. Can we say it together? Can we say it together? That's one of the biggest challenges of export readiness. Let me tell you what export readiness does. When you have not mastered export readiness, in the course of the business, you might find yourself encountering issues that shows that there is a challenge with readiness. Now, I'm sorry, sir. I'm very sorry. I will use your case as an example, not to spite you, please, but just to, yes, as a learning point. Yes, thank you very much. So sorry about that. Now, export readiness. Let me give you an example. So, at the point of at the commencement of the transaction, there are a lot of issues that if you can anticipate, it will have prevented from happening. And I'll use two examples that I mentioned. The first is the issue of hibiscus. Some years ago, hibiscus was banned in Mexico. Export Nigeria to Mexico, which is a major market, was banned. And the reason is because they found pest inside the product at the destination market. For Nigeria, because of one person, they banned the whole of Nigeria. So the people in Mexico, it was during Mr. Shekawolowo, and they have to come and work with Nigeria to set up a process to ensure the product going there is now foolproof. Now, what has now happened, knowing us for who we are as Nigeria, the people that work with the government when that was set up are the one preventing him now. And that's not me. What they should have done is to train him on what they've been trained to do to ensure that he's able to do it, not to now corner it among yourself, which is bad. But fortunately, NDPC is not regulated. They will be able to stop them. Do you understand? So it's not an easy issue. My recommendation would be there are other market for your business, by the way. There are other market for your business. So since you're already an exporter, you already know what to do. It will be painful, but you might have to just look for other market for your business plan. That would be my recommendation. On the second issue of payment, the presenter was right about the fact that there are options that you will have explored that will prevent you from experiencing that. Let me give you an example. If I'm exporting to a new market for the first time, a market I'm exporting for the first time, and I'm not getting a payment method that secure me, I will not ship if I don't have a representative in that country. I won't ship. Now, even though we're using that issue as a lesson, the lesson here is that if you must ship to a new export market, the question I ask myself is, if I lose this money, will my business die? If it will die, I will ship. If I can't get a payment method that secure me, you need to learn about some trade finance instruments. A very popular one is letter of credit, but there are other ones. There's guarantee, demand guarantee, there's standard letter of credit, there are other ones. But the common one is letter of credit. A letter of credit will ensure that the bank can secure you, rather than you relying on the integrity of the buyer. Now, if I will rely on the integrity of the buyer, if I must ship, the buyer will not get my shipping document. My shipping document will go to my representative, who will clear the bullet to a warehouse where the buyer will come and pay and pick it up. If he will not come and pay and pick it up, my representative will get someone else to pick it up. Does that make sense? Yes. Now, having an understanding of this risk ahead will make you to ensure that you should not go into an export market where you don't have a representative. I've shipped to China, I've done business in China, I've done business in UAE, I've done business in UK, I've done in Canada and in the US. In every location, I must have a representative. And typically I find Nigerians in that case. That means they'll make money in the process. Sometimes they make money more than me, and I'm okay with it. Because when they are happy, I will be happy. When they are happy, I'll be happy. So having a representative is extremely important for successful and sustainable export business. I emphasize that because of the issue of preparation, export readiness. Because at the point of preparation, there's something that should be obvious to you already that will make you to prevent this kind of issue from happening. And the last one is the profit. Let's start. Move on. Now, so AfCFTA is an agreement. It's an agreement signed among the African countries. And the goal of this agreement is to ensure that Africa trade together. Look at this data. Think about this. What's African population? Over 1 billion, about 1.4 billion. What's EU population? Less than half, specifically less than 500 million. If you remove Brexit, probably about 400 million. Because UK is about 70. Now, EU trade in the world is about 33%. And by the way, global trade is about 33 trillion. Trade in goods is about 24 trillion, 25 trillion trade in goods. So that means if you do 30%, that's about 1/3. That means about 8 trillion is done by which country? EU alone. Are we together? Guess the volume of trade done by Africa. Anything guess? You don't have anything to lose, just guess. Yes, sir. 3%. That would have been lovely, but it's lower than that. But very close to that. About 2 to 2.5% of global trade. What's African population? What's EU population? About, you see that 8 trillion of EU, about 70% is within EU. But in Africa, only about 12, 13, 14% within Africa. Even though we have higher population, we can trade among ourselves and do more, but we do more trade with other people. But if you trade among themselves using the EU agreement, now I'm trying to emphasize how important this agreement is. Why we need AfCFTA. Because we have the population, we can trade among ourselves and fix all the issues and increase, reduce inequality and increase wealth and opportunity on the African continent. So that's what the agreement is about. Is to establish a free trade area, common national tariff, gradually move on, obstacle to trade and right of residence. Move on, please. So if you look at this is just talking about the progression of free trade agreement, of what is called economic integration to the economics. So you have the free trade agreement, then you can move on to custom union, then you can move on to common market economic union. So in West Africa, we currently have West Africa Economic Union. So the common market, not economic union. Common market. That's why I can take my green passport and fly to Ghana without visa. That's why I can ship to Ghana and there will be duty payment for my goods. Why? Because we have an agreement within West Africa, and we're trying to extend that beyond West Africa to other African countries. Now, move on, next slide please. The agreement it used to have about 6 protocols. They increased it to 8 protocols. So in phase 1, we have trade in goods, trade in services, and protocol on dispute resolution. In phase 2, you have protocol on competition policy, intellectual property right, and investment. And in phase 3, which was added recently, just after COVID, we have protocol on women and youth in trade. Africa is women sensitive. Women and youth in trade. And the next one, digital trade. The Minister of Trade is championing this digital trade seriously because he believes we can harness the potential of youth in Africa, particularly in Nigeria, to be able to get involved in that. So protocol on women and youth in trade, support for women and youth within the African continent. Next slide please. 54 countries have signed, 48 has ratified. That means has become laws in those countries. And Nigeria has to be one of them. Next slide. The only country that is signed is Eritrea. In that corner, I don't know why. But all other countries have signed. Only Eritrea is to sign. And all those countries also have ratified. Next slide. And this was shocking actually. It was shocking even to the Western world. Because they really do not know we could be this united to want to do business together within the African continent. Now, the beauty of this agreement is that, when this agreement was signed, the president was on the way to sign it. March 21, 2019, 2018. He was on the way to the airport when they have to come back. You know why? Since the organization said it cannot happen, that they are going to sign Nigeria away. The president has set up a committee that moved around the country to educate Nigeria that this agreement have protection. Do you know the funniest thing? The person that chaired the committee that draft this agreement in Africa was a Nigerian. It's late now, Ambassador Sakwe. He was in Nigeria, so Nigeria was well protected, but they did not communicate the message to the populace. So what are the protecting mechanisms of this agreement? Number one is the fact that not all the goods are fully liberalized. Meaning Nigeria have decided these are the areas that NASIMA, SMEs have said we want this area protected. We don't want it to be freely available to everybody. So about 90% is available to everybody to trade with us, but we have about 10%. That means areas where we are still developing and we don't want competition in those areas to protect local economy.
Watch out for the next part of this training on our YouTube channels, Voice of African Trade or Global Trade College.